నిన్న బాగా రాశారు. ఎవరు రాశారు? ఎంతమంది రాశారు నిన్న? వాట గుడ్. మీ గ్రూప్ 1కి గ్రూప్ 2కి ఇవన్నీ కూడా వాట్ ఆర్ ద ఎగ్జామ్స్? సో దగ్గర దగ్గర 10 ఉంటాయి సార్ వీళ్ళు రాసాయి. వన్ ఆర్ ద అనదర్ బై జూలై. ఆగస్ట్ లాస్ట్ ఐ థింక్. ఆగస్ట్ ఇస్ సీజన్ లాస్ట్. ఓకే, 3 ఇంకా డేట్ రాలేదు. సో ఆగస్ట్ సెప్టెంబర్ ద సీజన్ ఎండ్స్. So before that, I am sure that once you are writing so many, it will be done. Yes? Okay. Right. Now, so every examination, because whatever the feedback that I am getting into, current affairs or current affairs related. So similar pattern followed by each and every examination as per the general studies is concerned. Even in history, geography, if we can say this is a current affairs based. And well, we don't have any option rather than to touch with the latest happenings. So whether you will read it or listen it, okay, or practice it is your option, but you don't have an option of ignoring anything. And again, I'm telling you this number of times the revision is very crucial. Just having a glance on the day is not sufficient. Okay, now that you are listening on writing something, see that at least after 2-3 days you will have the glance. You need to be familiar with that, and every time you are reading you will find a new question, new answer from that. Okay, so that is the beauty of you yourself writing and looking into. Okay, so back to this week, somehow we skipped the Saturday. So it's an odd hour, right, as per the current affairs is concerned. But still, let us say the few important aspects that happened this 1 week, 10 days back. And one constitutional point, because the few things always remind us, is that recently the deputy CM of Delhi get arrested. What for? Liquor scam. So sometimes there is some irregularities happen while making a policy. So in the policy document is that. So let us not get into the history part, why and all the things. You are aware of those things very much. So once he was arrested, he was produced before the court, right? Has to be done and everything. And he invoked Article 21(3). But anyhow, the court ignored. That's a different issue. Any of you can tell me what is this Article 23? Article 21, sorry. Article 20, Clause 3. What is Article 20? What is Clause 3? Again, okay. First of all, we need to be aware of what it is. No doubt, perhaps you may do some crime or not. Finally, who is the judge? Judge is the judge, right? The court is the judge, not others. So evidence is required to come to the final conclusion. Without evidence, no judgment. From where you will get the judge evidence? Generally, the police will investigate, they will gather the information and give the evidence. In the criminal cases, I'm talking about. Now, can you give the evidence against yourself? Or can you force to give an evidence against yourself? Okay, voluntarily, if you disclose, if you murder somebody, you can surrender and say, I only murdered, that's a different issue. Yeah, the confession you can do so, but otherwise, no. So the Constitution, Article 20, is protecting you from this is what we call self incrimination. So when you say that self incrimination, you are not supposed to force anybody to give evidence against himself or herself. Okay. Of course, getting general information like what is your name, your Aadhaar card, or your driving license, your address proof, those things are different, factual informations. But otherwise, isn't it? And best example, I can say that here when we have mm, again because it is relating to the drugs issue, number of celebrities involved, including that at the time Puri Jagannath and heroes, heroines, everything. And Charme invoked this article at the time, and High Court of Telangana sided with her in a way because they are called for whether they had taken drugs or not. No, to general information. There are no any arrest warrants, anything as such. So in the process of inquiry, they started collecting the samples of their blood, of the hair, because the hair sample is very crucial. If we collected that, I think 3 to 6 months, the drugs once you are taken, it is there. So knowing that, she approached that. How is that they will collect? There no any charge sheet on us, no case on us. So in the process of investigation, they are forcing us to give the samples. And court said yes, you cannot force them to give the samples. So though you committed crime, now it is up to the police to investigate and get the evidence. Okay. Recently also, there's a one guy, the murdered girl, almost cut into 42 pieces, something like this, right? And whatever be the confession before the police is different, but what he is saying before the court is important. Simply said is the police forced me, there end the matter, everything gone. Okay. Even lie detector, okay, lie detecting test, or any other narco analysis, DNA testing, all these things required the consent of the person. So you cannot give evidence. Of course, in the rarest of the rare cases, court will permit, but otherwise. So here, once no, the newspaper clearly said that the CBI openly said he's not giving answers, evading number of things, simply saying I didn't remember. Easy things, right? Certain things. So Delhi High Court simply ignored the issue, but as this article was widely discussed in the part, advisable to remember this. Overall, what is this Article 20? It is protecting you from, uh, for example, okay. Otherwise, you can say it abolished Article 20. The three things overall. One is double punishment for single offense. You have committed only one offense, you should be punished for once, not twice. Okay, ఒక నేరానికి రెండు సార్లు శిక్షించకూడదు. You are not supposed to be punished twice for single offense. That's the most important. And another aspect of it is no retrospective, no backward. Today the law made, only from today the law is going to be implemented, not from yesterday. Okay, regarding criminal cases, of course benefits ఉన్నాయి అనుకో, TA వస్తుంది. Okay, now in the month of March they announce, okay, from January itself we'll give the benefits. That's a different issue, and civil issues are different. But in the with the criminal issues concerned, the punishments, no question of back date. Okay, when the law came into force, only from the day it will be implemented. Okay, if you done something else, you cannot apply the present law to the past issues. So that is no retrospection. And of course no self incrimination. Okay, this, but these three things stands abolished by article 20. So though you committed a crime, in a way it is protecting you, isn't it? So what the, why it is the important is law means law. Okay, you have to apply the law, only through the law you have to punish, not by any other means. And that too, as there is a possibility of misuse, abuse of different provisions, keeping that in mind, this provision was added. And one more speciality of this article is article 20, because all fundamental rights, when you say, they are not absolute. What it means, when they are not absolute, every fundamental right is followed by reasonable restrictions. So when the reasonable restrictions are there, who will impose the restrictions? Constitution itself will impose some restrictions. If necessary, Parliament will impose the restrictions. That is one aspect, no problem. But there is another crucial thing of fundamental right, it can be suspended. Okay, suspended by the president during national emergency especially. Of course article 19 get automatically suspended, but this right, even during national emergency, president cannot suspend two fundamental rights, this 20 and 21, right? This 21 is right to life, these two can't be. A number of competitive examinations you find that questions. Okay, okay, wherever only specific word citizen use, that's it. Otherwise it's applied to all the person includes citizens, the foreigners living in the country, or the aliens are there. Even article 14 also specifically, right? Last we discussed, you have the legal person. What do you mean by legal person? These companies, organizations which are registered, they too consider legal person. Can Ganga, river Ganga or river Krishna, are they persons? Last time I think we discussed. Now the court is also said yes, they too can file a case and all the things. Anyhow, those aspects, and here you just keep this in mind, because any issues that arises, try to recollect that. Then one more constitutional issue arise of the Supreme Court judgment recently is of election commission, right? So what is the Supreme Court on this election commission? Yeah. So there's an allegation that the election commission become partisan. Okay. Supposed to be independent, but it is remotely controlled. So long back, the case was filed, not that recently, 2018, maybe if I remember correctly. The case was filed. Then that referred to the constitutional bench, a 5 members constitutional bench. So finally, the decision came. So Supreme Court clearly stated, while appointing CEC, Chief Election Commissioner, and other election commissioners. So because the main important thing is appointment, you have to take the panel into consideration, not the present process. So presently, what has happened? Appointed by the president, and president will do so only on the advice of Council of Ministers, or we can say the PM and the cabinet. So finally, it is up to the cabinet to do so. That means it is doing by executive only. So now they said, let the president as it is, then opposition leader in Lok Sabha, then third, Chief Justice of India. Hmm? Prime Minister, where will come? Hmm. Hmm? Here, if we say this, the PM, opposition leader CJ. These refer to the finally president only appoints. Okay. Finally, president only appoints. No different variation there. Before that, a panel need to be considered. And where the similar panel is there? Prime Minister, leader opposition, and CJ. Hmm? Enjak is not at all there. Hmm? Collegium only judges, nothing to do with opposition leader. CBI, director of CBI, while appointing, yes, CVC, because these some constitutional authorities while appointing a panel. So look into that again. Okay, if you don't have that information, go back to our videos on constitutional bodies, non-constitutional bodies, a detailed explanation regarding appointment processes. And now that it is there, okay, very important. And tell me one thing, is it be immediately coming to the force or the parliamentary law is required? Hmm? Is it anything required? Later, the parliament has to make a law, or automatically it will come into force? Hmm? Hmm. Hmm. Okay, because there's a question recently one of the students asked me, so I'm just asking as it. Remember one thing: once the judgment, Supreme Court delivered judgment, it is binding on the. It has to. So till the Parliament made a detailed act on this, this judgment is in force. So next time while you are appointing Chief Election Commissioner or election commissioners, because ours is a multi-member body, right? A single member body is a multi-member, 3 members. body. So till then, this will be on the board. That means they have to implement. So next appointment, yes, should be done according to this process. There no. So which article is dealing with this election commission? 324, because election commission. So article 324, when it's dealing with the election commissions, may have to be moved. Only it says headed by election commissioner and commissioners as fixed by president from time to time. Okay, also there. Similarly appointed by the president whenever required. There no any specific procedure how to do so, but generally president will do so everything on the advice of council of ministers headed by prime minister. So hitherto the same process continued. Now it gets reversed. Okay, so we have to wait and see what the, if at all, the government will do if it wanted to undo this process. Okay, rarely they will go against the judgment of the Supreme Court, and I don't think so also. So simply, even if the Parliament has not made any law on this in future, automatically the judgment is in force. They have to do so. That means Parliament can modify, if at all. For example, now 3 only, you may add something. Who knows? Like NJAC, no, they want to add so many, but finally that were declared as unconstitutional by court. So the judicial review may come into force. So what sort of articles the court is invoking? Those, of course, if you go in depth. So my friend says Article 142, 132, all these things when Supreme Court use its power to deliver the judgments, and those are binding on the parties. Anyhow, right now in this case, just remember this. And who is the present Chief Election Commissioner? Hmm? Hmm? Rarely they will ask you about election commissioners, but last time we discussed, I think, while appointing election commissioners, once a controversy arises, okay, and whenever the issues comes, always try to check the recent or latest person holding the office. Just Google it. I am sure that, right? No need to even refer your notes and everything. Okay, chief of or the head of every organization is very important, right? So any doubt on this? Of course, rarely they will ask this 5 judge bench is headed by whom? If at all is Joseph, yeah, KM Joseph headed this. Then one more, the Supreme Court issue came upon Hindenburg report on Adani. What it says? It appointed an expert committee headed by Justice retired AM Sapre. Justice retired AM Sapre, he is heading the expert committee to look into the Hindenburg report. What is this Hindenburg report? Yeah, it's an Adani group. What Adani group has done? Again, irregularities. So now the Supreme Court ordered the probe by expert committee headed by former judge AM Sapre. Of course, other OM Bhatt, Devdutt, M.V. Kamath, and Nandan Nilekani, Shoman Sundaran, all these other members, just remember, because from the exam point of view, always who headed this is important. Okay. So, any doubts on this? Nothing? Okay. Then, so another issue, let us take up again the past issue, divides. Recently, the Punchi Commission is in the news. What for this? Why it's in the news? Okay. Punchi Commission dealt with the center-state relations. Very good, you said. So 5 years over after its submitting report. So now 5 years after Punchi panel work completed, now central government invited states' opinions. What you will say? Okay. As again central government asked the state, what is your opinion on the report? So this is become a current affairs. Otherwise, it's related. So in which year it was appointed? Punji Commission to look into the center-state relations. Constituted in 2007. Okay. So former Chief Justice of India, Madan Mohan Punchi, okay, his full name. And way back 2010 itself, it submitted its report. And finally, the report, everything they finalized. Yes, all the deliberations, formalities, 2017-18. So now the government is asking the state's opinion. That means though report submitted long back, general deliberations over, so far they are not taken the state's opinions. That means so far it is not implemented, isn't it? The Punji report is yet to implement. That point you have to keep in mind. So what are the other commissions or committees relating to center-state relations? Sarkaria. What is the first committee? Sarkaria only on center-state relations. Raj Mannar. Raj Mannar committee. Of course, that was appointed by Tamil Nadu state government, not by central government. Okay. So in that way, you are right. If you take it, but the first committee is that Raj Mannar, way back 1970s. 1983, you have the Sarkaria Commission to look into the issue. Hmm? Of course, Venkatachalaya issue, really, that is overall the Committee on Review of Indian Constitution. Though all these committees are suggesting innumerable things, because of course there is a more of a descriptive to look into the issue. How far the government is implementing all these issues is a matter. Then And recently, the state level elections happen. State assembly elections. How many states? Three states, yeah. Nagaland, Tripura, Meghalaya. Hmm. Or they got absolute majority to form the government? Any party? Alliances, coalitions. So remember again, recollect, to form the government, you required simple majority. That means half plus 1. If no party got this majority, what it is called? Hung. Hung legislature, hung parliament. Okay, number of again competitive examination will find the question. No party in a position to form the government because it didn't get the simple majority. Okay, so when there arise hung, possibility of three aspects. One is coalition because now no party is forming. So coalition implies two or more parties come together and form a government. It may be a grouping, alliances, one group and thing, or overall. Two or more parties come together and form a government. So who else? What is next? Because our competitive part we had just now I said minority. So when you use the word minority, only one party will form the government with the outside support of other parties. Outside support means those parties which are supporting this party will not participate in the ministry. They will not become the ministers. Okay, they will not be part and parcel of the governing process. Though from outside they may deliver. And even rarest of the rare case, you will find a national government. A national government implies no opposition at all. For example, there are five parties. All five parties in the government. They will given bets according to the ratio proportions of the seats they acquired. No opposition at all. All political parties participate in the ministry. They are in the government. Okay, rarely you will find this national government. So either if any party got it, otherwise, okay. If you recollect those points, sufficient for this. Okay, though which party get what and everything that counts. Then when come to few international issue, China takes lead in mapping the deep sea. There is something uh, recently very much in the news. What it's all about deep sea, going in depth, right? Because now the resources are very much available under the water, especially ocean waters. So making advantage of the existing technology, you are going in depth and exploring the thing. And so far, America only have certain technology. Now China started. Okay. So that's only the deep sea when you saying is concerned for the purpose. Generally, here this sort of issue arises and quick recollection of territorial waters, EEZ, high seas. The three words you need to be aware of it. What is territorial waters? Is that 12 nautical miles? It is ours. Okay, our sovereignty extends. EEZ, exclusive economic zone, 200 nautical miles. You don't have full-fledged sovereignty, but you have control only over resources. Okay, what are resources within that area you can explore. Okay, like mining, oil, fishing, etc. etc. And beyond is at what? High seas, called international waters. Now, where this deep sea, if you call this, is it in territorial waters they are going on, or is it or in high seas? Anywhere else, right? But in general, they will do in their EZ area, every country. And if at all you wanted to go or do anything in the high seas, the consent of the UN is required, or only with the UN permission you can go ahead. So right now they are going in depth of 10,000 meters. Okay, Fendos. And US, France, and Russia have this similar capability. Now Chinese. So China become the fourth one after US, France, and Russia. Then, so India recently hosted the Quad Foreign Ministers meet in Delhi. Okay, Quad Foreign Ministers meeting. FM meet in Delhi. We have hold this. What is the Quad? Quadrilateral security dialogue. So Quad implies these four countries. What are those four? So of course India, US, Australia, Japan. Okay. Any order may be anything. You can see this today. So full thing is called as Quadri. Quad means four. The four countries security dialogue supposed to be. But they are given the wider interpretation for security, not just a military security. It includes the full food security, health security, like this. Now, the foreign ministers meeting was happened here, where this year Quad meeting is going to be held. Is it in India or elsewhere? Okay, it's Australia. Okay, by end of this year, okay, is going to be held. So next meet somewhere in September, like that. Okay, I'm subject to correction. The Australia this year, the Quad meeting is taking place. Then, what is the name of the naval exercise conducted by Quad countries? Recently, in SSC banking, these all examinations also appeared, and Group One and all the things also. Yeah, Australia, yes, right. So Divyashri, Navishri answering it somehow. I not look at this today. Okay, good answers. Malabar, good. The Malabar naval exercises, right? So that's also important. A regular question that happened in the Quad. Okay. Then any other? Then one more thing, and the Raisina dialogue is again in the news. What is this? Raisina dialogue. Yeah, Chami Sultana is Malabar. Hmm. Is an annual event, of course, the meeting regarding what is a geopolitical event organized by Minister of External Affairs. Okay. So 2023 meeting was recently held. So provocation, uncertainty, turbulence. So those are the theme of raising a dialogue. But just remember what is this Raisina dialogue, because this Raisina is the name of the hill. Okay, as it's the seat of government of India, the all deliberation discussions. It was named after that. So in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, right? Premises it will be there. So it's an annual geopolitical event organized by Ministry of External Affairs in collaboration with ORF, Observer Research Foundation. It is something like Shangri-La dialogue. Regularly it happen in Singapore. Okay, all foreign countries, foreign ministers of different countries to participate. So as conducted by Minister of External Affairs, you can clearly guess it. Okay, this is nothing but foreign ministers meet. Okay, regularly they will meet and do the thing. So March 2nd, this meeting happened. Is the eighth time. Okay, in recent years, it is up. Then one more thing again in the news recently is a BIMSTEC. Why? What is this BIMSTEC? Bay of Bengal Initiative on multi-sectoral technical economic cooperation. How many countries in that BIMSTEC? 7 or 8. Sure. Hmm? It's a 7 countries. Way back 1997 it was founded. And where is the secretariat of BIMSTEC? Bangladesh. It is Dhaka. Right. So now India hosted the first meeting of governing board of BIMSTEC Energy Center, because there is a things happen. The first time, as it's the first time again in the news. So BIMSTEC floated a governing board on energy center. Okay. So to India called for the meeting of the governing board of BIMSTEC Energy Center. And BIMSTEC, remember, it is almost all replacing the SARC. Okay. Once upon a time, SARC is very much in the thing is concerned, but because of the Pakistani's adamant nature, it is virtually functionless. So India is now giving top priority to BIMSTEC, which act as a link between the Asian countries, the South Asian countries, and the Asian countries. Then anti-defection law also in the news. What for this anti-defection law in the news? On two reasons. One is on Maharashtra issue, and one more thing also it says that whoever disqualified or even facing disqualification charges, they cannot participate in the floor test. That's what recently the Supreme Court delivered the judgment. Okay, that means whoever facing disqualification charges, not that it finalized, they cannot participate in the floor test. What is floor test? To prove the majority in the house. What is confidence motion? What is no confidence motion? All are same, right? Huh? Huh? All are same. But so when you say that confidence motion, no confidence motion, floor test. All this purpose is the only one thing, to test the majority of the government, whether the simple majority is there to run the government or not. When the government itself, that is prime minister at central level or CM at the state level, introduce the motion to prove his majority on the floor of the house, we call that as a confidence motion. Okay, CM or PM himself introduce the bill to prove their majority. That is the confidence motion. If opposition introduce the motion stating that we don't have confidence, then we call that as the or rebel, anything, okay, other than CM, okay, introduce the bill, then we call it as the no confidence. What is floor test then? Is ordered by the governor or the president, okay, or Supreme Court, anything else. Is not neither done by the CM or PM there or not by the opposition. It came from governor or the president accordingly, or sometimes Supreme Court itself. Of course, Supreme Court directly will not order. Supreme Court asks the governor to conduct the test. So finally, governor only has to do that. Okay. So there are the three terms which you have to keep in mind. And similarly, quick recollection of this anti-defection law. Which schedule contains anti-defection? I'll just ask the question because number of times we discussed this. Which schedule? 10th schedule. 10th schedule added by which amendment? Huh? 52nd amendment. Which year? 19? Sure? 1985. 52nd constitutional amendment added the 10th schedule. What is the purpose of it? Hmm? Hmm. So to put an end to what we call Ayaram Gayaram phenomena, or horse trading, or floor crossing, that implies this applies only to elected members, not you and me. We can shift ourselves from one party to another individually. Only elected member. If any person get elected from particular party ticket, he or she should be in that party only. If they don't want, voluntarily they can resign, no problem. Okay, resign to the party, resign to their MLA or MPship, no issue. If not, then only problems arises. Instead of being in the party which you get elected, you will shift your loyalty to another party. Anti-defection law attracts. Okay. Any hope you are aware of? Who will be the final decision maker in this anti-defection law? Recently, even SSC exam, the final decision. Yeah, speaker decision is final. Okay, speaker will take the decision who will come under anti-defection law or not. Of course, the complaint you can raise it. Okay, who will come under? Number one is voluntarily. If any person resigns to his party, automatically he will lose his membership of the house also. Okay, the reason why recently Itala, for example, he resigned his MLA-ship, then to the party. Okay, otherwise what will happen if he first resign to the party, automatically will lose his membership also. So or else the thing, for example, he has not resigned to the party but criticizing the party. Because of this criticizing the party suspended him for anti-party activities. Will he lose the seat or not? He has not resigned. For anti-party activities, he was suspended. Will that MLA-ship continues or he will lose? Or anti-defection law will attract? He can continue. MLA-ship will continue. Only if he resigns to the party, without resigning MLA-ship, then automatically that will lose. If he is suspended, nothing. Similarly, sometimes our members violate the whip of the party. Whip means order of the political party. Order something. You vote for or not to vote for, like this. They violated the whip. What is the position then? Will anti-defection law attracts? This is a civil service question. Which of the following is true and false? Okay, this question here already appeared, so I'm just asking this the same thing for you. Will that attracts? Again, you have to read that lines very carefully there. Violation of the whip no doubt attracts the anti-defection law, but conditions are there. It should be okay raised by concerned party within 2 weeks. That is, say within 15 days. For example, recently Sitaka, right, the Congress MLA, done something regarding presidential elections. Okay, instead of voting Congress party supported candidate, she voted other. Then after coming out openly said because some reasons says not, and party has not condemned this. If political party condoned this, that too within 15 days, then only anti-defection law. Same thing, imagine Komatreddy Venkat Reddy, some anti-party activities notice given. So once the 15 days passed away, nothing is going to be happen. So the condition is that violation of the whip, party whip attracts the anti-defection law, but condition within 15 days, the concerned party has to condone it. If it is not condoned, there end the matter. Okay. Similarly, one more thing on merger. How many members consent is required to merge one party with another? 2/3. If it is less than 2/3, anti-defection law attracts. If that 1/3 is not interested, then they can continue as an independent. And Maharashtra, the issue is concerned who is the real party now, isn't it? So technically speaking, which are the whoever have the majority, they only. So according the election commission recognized the Shinde's faction. Okay. Now let us see the finally what Supreme Court will say. Even Supreme Court refused to intervene in it recently already. So finally, election commission that decides regarding registration, recognitions, everything. Okay. So careful about this issue because number of issues are coming. So these are all quick recollections. Yeah, I think those are the few important aspects. Anything other than this? Yeah, one more international issue. Windsor framework. What is this? Windsor framework. So it's a UK deal with European Union on post-Brexit trade rules. Windsor framework is an agreement between UK and European Union on post-Brexit trade rules that will govern Northern Ireland. Okay. What is Brexit? Britain exit from European Union. So now that is not the part of it, and they're taking steps to avoid any sort of clashes, conflicts, trade barriers, etc. etc. So recently an agreement was signed. So that is called as the Windsor framework. It is actually replacing immediately after the Brexit, an agreement called a protocol was signed. That's called Northern Ireland Protocol. This Windsor framework replaces Northern Ireland Protocol. Okay. Now to make it simple, they put the red lines, green lines. Okay. Whatever the products going from Britain to Northern Ireland by the green lines to European Union to the red lines. So that now they will check. In the European Union condition is that no checks, right? Free movement of goods and services within European Union. So once upon time Britain is there, so no problem. Now it is not there. So naturally the checks follows. Okay. So regarding this agreement. Any doubt? There is one more. Then regarding ISRO, Chandrayaan 3 issue is there. This year ending, they are going to launch Chandrayaan 3, and recently ISRO conducted a flight test of cryogenic engine. What is the cryogenic engine they are using now in this? CE-20 cryogenic engine. Good. Recently, of course, sometimes no, they will ask the stock GK also. ISRO is established in. Okay, in some exams, I find this question. So rarely they will ask this sort of question. Okay, when it was established, way back 1969. Okay, sometimes they'll ask the full forms, the chairman of ISRO, all those things. So try to recollect all those aspects. Okay, right. So any doubts? Think. Right. So thank you very much. So we'll meet again. Nice. Thank you.